joining us today. Today, both myself, Denise Lonis, and Francis Flynn Thorsen, the creator of No Blogger Left Behind, are joining you, and we're going to be talking about blogging today. And specifically, we're going to be talking about how you calculate your return on investment with blog. And what we're doing is we're setting up this series, a pre-training series of short videos that we're going to be doing to just kind of give you a taste of what is this blogging all about and how can this help my business. This is a really solid business-based approach to blogging. We're going to be covering things like, how blogging really works, and most importantly, why does blogging matter to you as a real estate professional in your business? How does it affect buyers and sellers, capturing buyers and sellers, capturing leads, getting new business, and how does blogging, most importantly, translate into dollars and cents? Today, Francis Flynn Thorsen and myself, Denise Lonis, are going to share some ideas with you and some tips and some thoughts. Today, we're specifically covering calculating your return on investment. So the first question, Fran, that I want to talk about today and have you address is this whole idea around marketing metrics and your blog. Why is it so important to be tracking the metrics on your blog, and what are those metrics, and what does that mean to the average agent that's starting to blog or has a blog?
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And what we're going to do is talk about these in dollars and cents terms beyond the other discussions about metrics. A lot of people are measuring their metrics in terms of the amount of trust they build in their community. And that certainly is a very, very good reason to be blogging and a very, very good measure. A lot of people also talk about just, being available and letting people know who they are. They build some credibility. And, yeah, that's something that you can measure. But we really want to talk about some of the dollars and the cents that are attached to blogging and how to measure that in real numbers. And we're going to be taking a look at how to do that, talking about web traffic. Web traffic is the number of people who come to your blog. We're going to measure that. We're going to talk about how to measure that. We're going to talk about how to measure conversions. I remember when I started in real estate back in 1985, I started to work with goals and real numbers. How much money do you want to make in the course of the year? How much of that do you want to come from listings? How much of that do you want to come from sales? How many listing appointments do I need to give in the course of a month if I want to get 5 listings? If I know that I have to make 3 appointments to get 2 listings, I'm going to be setting the number of appointments to correspond to my success rate. I'm going to set the number of appointments with the number of buyers based upon what I know it takes for me to be able to close a deal. And some years it might have been 4 houses in a year, per buyer. Sometimes it was 7. So I would work with those kinds of numbers. And that's what agents do. And we can work with those same kinds of numbers on the web when we know what those numbers are, when we know that we have people coming to our website, and if we know we have 100 people coming to our website, and how many people actually call us, we can set real numbers so we can say, okay, I want to have this many people coming into my business from my website, from my blog. What do I need to be able to do that?
Well, the reason that I think that agents right now, Fran, are so nervous about marketing metrics is I think that they don't really understand them. And the simple way that I like to explain marketing metrics to an agent is I want them to think about their blog as just another way to create a lead generation system in their business. A blog is a great tool because not only do you get to talk about the things you know in your blog, you also get to engage with people, which is really the key to any successful real estate business. So to me, the blog is the ultimate engagement tool in your business. But any engagement tool, whether that is working expired listings, whether that's working a geographical farm, whether that's working open houses, any kind of lead generation needs to be measured. And one of the things that I really think is important for agents to understand, and one of the things that we're going to really explain in the No Blogger Left Behind series, is just how, not only how important it is to measure these things, but how to use the metrics as then a goal for you to then say, just as you did, okay, 100 people are coming to my blog, but I'm only engaging with 4 of them. but I want to engage with 12 of them. So does that mean I need 300 people, or does that mean that my content needs to change, or does that mean I need a call to action, or does that mean I need an invitation? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? But I think the whole point of marketing metrics is to track this stuff. You have to know what your web traffic is. You have to know what your conversion rate is. You have to know where your business is coming from, or your potential business. So that's why with agents I really try to simplify it and just let them know that the marketing metrics side of your blog and measuring your blog traffic is as simple when you know the formula as it would be if you had a geographical farm. So let's talk a little bit, Fran, about some of the challenges that you see agents have in being able to get to the point where they're comfortable with marketing metrics. What are the big challenges out there for them right now?
Well, I think a lot of people just don't know where to start. They say, "What is a reasonable? What can I expect? What is a reasonable expectation for me?" And I think that that we need to look at a range of possibilities. And if we look at the gold standard of lead generation, which is what some companies do, as a business model, we can see what the best is, and then work backwards from there. If you take a look at what the lead generation companies are charging agents for leads right now, that's a really good place to start, because some agents are paying about $350 for 10 leads. That's about $35 a lead. Now, that takes a lot of the worry out of finding business. But if you think that the average, if you're just working with a number like $3,000 on a single sale, it doesn't take too many sales to justify the cost of paying $350 for leads. The best lead generators are actually creating those 10 leads on websites with 100 to 120 visits total, because they're able to capture about 8 to 12% of the visitors to the website in lead capture forms that they turn over to the agent. Now, that's a very, very high conversion rate, but if you think about that, that's something to be shooting for ultimately. I know bloggers right now and we've talked to some in webinars in the past, who have about a 2% conversion rate. But if you have hundreds of people coming to your blog in the course of a week or a month, that can work to some pretty decent numbers. So, take a look at what we need to do is take a look at the actual website traffic. Divide that by the number of people who actually contact you, and that gives you a number that is a lead conversion number. And then you take that number and see, of those leads who come to you and who contact you, how many of those actually become clients or customers? And then that is the sales conversion number. So you can actually take a look at your blog, and you can come up with a couple of very, very interesting numbers. One is, what is the dollar per visitor number that your website is? If you have as many as 100 visitors a day with a 2% conversion rate, that gives you a pretty good income if you can do some converting. You can have a dollar value for every lead. That's almost $500. You will be generating enough leads that's what those buyers, every single lead becomes worth that to you.
Fran, one of the areas where there's a lot of confusion for agents is them understanding two things. One, what is called the DPV, or the dollar value per website visitor. That's an area of confusion that I want you just to talk about, that we also will be talking a lot more about in No Blogger Left Behind. And the second thing that they're very confused about is the DPL, or the dollar value per lead, and why does this stuff matter? So can you just briefly explain those 2 points for me and what that means to an agent's business? And we will be showing them in No Blogger Left Behind how to actually figure that all out, but I just want you to give them a quick overview on that.
Yeah, sure. If we assume somebody has 100 visitors a day to their blog, and they have even as little as a 2% conversion rate. So let's say only 2 people out of that 100 are going to contact you. That's a 2% conversion rate. That gives you 2 prospects that, that may be, worth business to you of, let's even say of about $2,250. Let's say each prospect is worth that to you at the settlement table. Okay, if you get that number of leads, you can take a look and say, okay, the lead value to me, okay, if I'm only converting even 25% of them, if I'm only converting 25%, that lead value may be worth about $447 to me overall. So if I get 10 leads, that's actually the value of the lead, because I'm not going to be closing all of them. You can drill down additionally, and you can say, okay, what is the value then of my visitors to my blog? And do the same kind of just basic division. Because every visitor who comes to your blog has a worth to you in your business. And if you treat your blog like a business and you start to look at your blog like a business, doing the addition, doing the subtraction, doing the division here and there, it starts to become easier to say, okay, this is where I'm at today. I want to bring my business up a couple of notches with my blog. What do I need to do if I want to double my traffic? I've only had 3 leads this month. What do I need to, to bring that up a couple notches and make that 3 a 10? And when you know what your numbers are in terms of traffic, in terms of converting that traffic to leads, and in terms of converting those leads into actual sales, then you're in a position to be able to do something and to be able to make judgments and adjustments to your blog, to be able to be, looking at your keywords, to be able to see where you stand in the marketplace relative to the traffic that you have. We're going to be talking a whole lot about competitiveness, how you can actually measure that, because Google knows everything. Google knows what your neighbor is doing. They know what your neighbor's traffic is. They know what keywords are working for you, and they know what keywords are working for your neighbor. And all of that is very, very transparent, and all of that information is there, and you can find it inside of a couple of clicks, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm excited about sharing, because it's really easy as long as you know how.
Well, one of the areas that we're going to be covering in No Blogger Left Behind that I'm very excited about is how do we take the average agent's blog, how do we use these metrics to give an agent, in essence, almost like an X-ray of how their blog is performing. So first you have the X-ray to find out what's going on, what's right or what's wrong, but then now you have to have the prescription or the solution, and that's what we're going to be giving in No Blogger Left Behind. One of the things that I do tell agents all the time is that if you do want to really use blogging as a lead generation method, and it is a very powerful lead generation method, those who are doing it and are doing it right are reaping huge rewards. So blogging is a very, very powerful lead generation tool. But you also have to be very aware of the fact that if you get an X-ray and the X-ray says you have some things wrong, you have to fix them. And the 4 areas that I find come up most often as being needing help or being wrong or being a little ill, so to speak, are things like keywords. Are you paying attention to keywords? And you may have to put some energy into that. Also, content. What is your content like on your blog? You can have the greatest keywords in the world, but if people come to your blog and they don't like it, you have a problem. The other thing is, the 3rd area is engagement. What kind of engagement are you encouraging on your blog? And the 4th area is what I call expert factor, and that is when people come to your blog, are you coming across as someone who is knowledgeable and professional and the expert? Because that's what people want today. They do want someone that knows what they're talking about. They want to engage with people that are like-minded to them and that are very, very expert in their particular area of the market or niche. So all of these metrics are wonderful, and we're going to show you how to figure out the metrics. How do I figure out my web traffic? How do I know about my conversion? How do I know, how am I going to get these people that are coming to my site that are interested? How do I now engage with them? But you also then have to look at those other 4 areas and say, okay, What am I going to do to improve my blog? So, having a blog is great, but if you're going to use it as a serious form of making money in your business, then you have to take it seriously, and you really have to look into those areas, and we're going to be showing that. Fran, talk to me just a little bit, kind of in summary, if you were to give agents some tips on this and say, okay, listen, here are my top tips in this particular area, what would those be?
Those tips are just basically know what your numbers are. Know what your traffic is. Make sure you have Google Analytics installed at the very, very least. Know how many people are coming to your blog on a monthly basis, on a daily basis. How many of them are unique visitors that are coming back? And then how many people are actually reaching out to you, sending you a request for information, signing up for searches for real estate, property types. How many of them are calling you as a result of the blog? And then out of those people who contact you, how many people are you doing business with? Those are the three most important metrics to track right now. That will give you a benchmark of where you stand, and based upon those numbers, then you can make a plan to say, okay, where do I need to be going? Do I need to increase my, my lead, or make my lead capture more obvious or more visible because I'm getting 10,000 people on my website every month, but nobody's contacting me? What's that all about? That may be about relevant keywords. You may be driving a lot of traffic, but if it's not traffic that's interested in you and your services, what good is that? You may have some other issues. You may have a lot of people who are asking you for information, but maybe you're not closing deals. Maybe you need to have a system in place that is about working with people that's not really about the web. That's about a basic system. So you need to set a benchmark, and you need to know what those numbers are.
That's great advice. And the one thing that I want to close on is I just want agents to really understand that for so many agents that I talk to, they tell me that they don't do a blog and they're not interested in blogging because they just get overwhelmed, that there's just so much. And what I want to encourage people to understand is that blogging is not that complicated, but there are some really important steps that you have to follow. And as Fran was saying, you can have all the traffic in the world, and maybe traffic isn't your problem. Most agents would say, if I had all the traffic in the world, I'd have no problem because I'd be closing deals all day long. Well, that's not necessarily true, because there's three things that I always tell agents they have to be very careful about on their blog. One of them is paying attention to traffic. How much traffic are you getting to your blog every day? What does that look like? The second thing is, are you converting that traffic into real live leads that want to talk to you? Now, I know agents right now that have very successful blogs that do not have a traffic problem. In fact, their only traffic problem is that they have way more traffic that they can handle. And they even get people to talk to them. But their challenge is that they don't have the follow-up system in place. So it's just like any other real estate lead generation system. You may have traffic, but you have to get that traffic to engage with you, to talk with you, to interact with you. But then what happens when that traffic goes away? You have to have a conversion system, a follow-up system to get them to come back. So there's always traffic, there's engagement, and then there's follow-up. And those are the things that we're going to be talking about and sharing our ideas and thoughts and secrets and tips in No Blogger Left Behind, because for the agent out there that really needs a strong lead generation system, they have an interest in blogging, they are interested in it, but they just don't know what to do with it, we're going to answer all those questions. So we will definitely be joining. I hope you join us again for our next part of the pre-series, the No Blogger Left Behind pre-series, and we're going to be sharing some other thoughts and tips. And please pay attention to and be aware of our upcoming No Blogger Left Behind series. And Fran, I want to thank you for sharing some insight with us today. And until next time, you guys, get out there and think about blogging. Blogging can change the way you operate in your real estate business. Blogging could be your next lead generation system that really, truly fulfills that funnel that you need in your business in order to keep the income coming in. So until next time, you guys get out there and really think about putting a blog together. It's good for you, it's good for your buyers, it's good for your sellers, and it's great for the industry. So take care, and we will